morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Darren Anglin, and I am the Global Director of Diversity Sourcing and Recruitment here at Johnson Controls, and I am ecstatic to host our first annual DEI Early Career Symposium. This year's theme is centered around the excitement of touring with Johnson Controls. We've seen many artists like Adele, Beyonce, Usher, Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, and many more embark on global tours this year and deliver some amazing shows with record turnout from Generation Z. JCI is on its own version of an early career tour, and we have quite a few dynamic leaders and speakers to share some amazing things we can offer you as you embark on your new journey, starting your corporate careers as you transition out of your college era. Today's show set list includes 4 major acts spanning topics that you won't want to miss. Our hope is that you leave this hour-and-a-half session with strong understanding of Johnson Controls, our commitment to sustainability, our early career development and diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives. Our leaders, our global leaders, are backstage preparing their performances, and we'll start the main show shortly. But first, I have to introduce my fellow MCs who have helped set the stage for today's event. I mentioned that we're going to be covering Johnson Controls' commitment to DEI, and that starts with people particularly introducing themselves authentically. DEI is more than just gender and race. It's also the different things that inspire us, how we lead differently from the seats that we sit in, and how we uniquely define success. You'll hear from some of our business leaders on their leadership styles during our hiring manager panel, but we want everyone in the audience to start thinking about what your leadership style and key to success may be. So we, the MCs, are going to kick things off and give you a head start before we get to the hiring manager panel. Personally, one of my favorite quotes comes from Beyonce's The Gift album. Life is your birthright. They hit that in the fine print. Take the pen and rewrite it. This quote in particular inspires me to take control of my own destiny and informs my personal leadership style traits. I believe in being a leader that's direct, transparent, and empowering through leading by example, with loyalty, work ethic, and confidence at the foundation of my success. I want to hand it to my other MC, Vienna, one of my partners in crime over the past couple of weeks, to hear a little bit from her leadership style, and her keys to success.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our event. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Vienna. I am currently the DEI intern. So with that in mind, this is actually my first big event that I'm hosting and launching. So I'm really excited to be here and kind of a little bit about myself. So the quote that I picked was, the question isn't who is going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. Because as an intern, you're not at the bottom, you're climbing up your way to the top. And you're also getting to know everybody and bringing your energy, which is something that I also want to lean into as my leadership style. I want to have a group that's very energetic. We have our energies bounce off each other. I also want to build in a collaborative force within my group so that I can learn from everyone that is participating. And I also want to build an inclusive environment where everyone's voice is heard. And lastly, I also talk a little bit about my key to success, which is being intentional. So acting with a clear purpose and creating meaningful relationships, being purposeful in your actions and choices, that will definitely make a big difference once you launch your internship. So with that, I would like to pass it off to my next MC, Ronnie.
Thanks, Bea. Hi, everyone. I'm Ronnie Dent, and I lead our early careers recruiting program. I've been with Johnson Controls for just over a year, and I really love it. I love being a part of a company that has a purpose that I value, and that does good work for the world. Doing our part to improve the environment is something I'm really proud of, and something you're all going to hear a lot more about in the next few minutes. So one of the quotes that inspires me is from Patty McCord. She's the former Chief Talent Officer at Netflix. She said, "A company's job isn't to empower the people, it's to remind them that they walk in the door with the power and to create the conditions to exercise it." I truly think we're all empowered to make change. And as a leader, I love taking something that's kind of messy and transforming it into something great. I'm always looking for ways to, help my team out and make our work purposeful and find where we can add value to the company. So with that, Darren is now going to tell you a little bit about Johnson Controls.
Yep. Thanks so much, Ronnie. And certainly I would be remiss if I didn't make note of the backgrounds that you see. Johnson Controls is celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so we thought it would be more than appropriate to make sure that this month in particular, we gave some extra pink flavor to what you can see as we share all the things Early Career Eras Tour here today. So we talked about leadership style, right? And your leadership style and key to success will probably vary. For example, the leadership style between Ronnie, Viana, and myself varies, right? And if I had to guess the leadership style of our founder, Warren Johnson, I'd probably say his leadership style and maybe his key to success really centered around ambition. In the late 1800s, well before building solutions, carbon footprint, sustainability, and climate change was a hot topic, Warren Johnson, our founder, launched a company to explore new ways to harness and conserve precious energy resources. Now, more than 140 years later, we've grown tremendously with a focus on building smarter, healthier, and more sustainable tomorrows. I'm big on putting things into layman's terms, right? And so you're probably wondering, what does building smarter, healthier, and sustainable tomorrows even mean? Well, Johnson Controls, also known as JCI, we're big on acronyms here, so you'll start to hear them as we go through our session, manufactures, sells, installs, and services, and maintains a myriad of different products and services that make commercial buildings you go into daily function efficiently. For example, sensors that open up doors at major airports, the heating and cooling functionality via HVAC that regulates temperature in office buildings, solar panels that service and back up energy for hospitals, fire detection sensors, security system controls, intrusion detection that make offices safe, and more. Through a full range of systems and digital solutions, we make your building smarter. A smarter building is safer, more comfortable, more efficient, and ultimately more sustainable. We have over 100,000 employees globally in over 150 countries. I mean, the art of the possible is truly endless for where you can live, work, and serve in partnership with JCI. With over 4 million customers we serve globally, and our products now in 90% of the world's most iconic buildings, JCI is at the forefront of innovation, technology, and sustainability. When you're walking around your college campus, or if you're catching a plane at the airport, just think about JCI products working tirelessly to ensure the safety of the people around you and the safety of our environment. At this point, JCI has delivered over 35 million metric tons of CO2 reduction in the buildings of our customers as well as our own. And we won't stop until we are at net zero carbon emissions. Now, speaking of sustainability, we are finally ready to bring out our opening act, our Vice President of Sustainability, Katie McGinty. Katie is a trailblazer in the climate change industry. With a background in chemistry and a law degree from Columbia, she is no stranger to academic excellence. Since then, she's been featured on a number of media platforms as a subject matter expert and received numerous awards, including Top 100 Women in Sustainability by Sustainability Magazine. And without further ado, please welcome our VP of Sustainability and Chief External Relations Officer, Katie McGinty.
Well, hello. Do I feel like a very lucky person to be part of this gathering today? And I also want to say that I am feeling pretty cool and right in the middle of things, not because only of sustainability, which I'm excited to talk about, but because no, I did not go to the ERAS concert, but I was front and center at the concert movie this weekend. And I total fan, although dancing in the aisles, I was asked to kind of like curb my enthusiasm. I'm going to reach out on my enthusiasm to the topic today. So I want to pick up on something that Darren said. He was talking about our purpose as a company here at Johnson Controls. Interesting story. So not long ago, some of the Johnson Controls team looked at the purpose, the one that we had written on our website at the time, and they said, you know, we feel even more strongly about what we are doing. We want to kind of rethink the language here. And we actually took it apart and we've sort of replaced it now. This is just employee driven, so that we now introduce ourselves that, hi, we're from Johnson Controls, and our passion is to build safe, smart, and sustainable tomorrows. You know, I'm fired up by that. Now, you might say, look, I want to be on this mission of sustainability, of tackling climate change. But geez, if that's the case, shouldn't I be going to the solar industry or wind or electric vehicles? Isn't that what you do if you care about climate? Well, here's a statistic. So, in terms of what's ailing the climate, 40% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from buildings, the places where we spend 90% of our time, by the way. It would be nice if those places had a little bit of an upgrade so we felt healthy, firing on all cylinders, and inspired in these places where we spend so much time. So the challenge is 40% of greenhouse gas emissions, but here's the excitement. The excitement is right now, today, we have the technologies to fix that. Give you a flavor of it. So it's not just one technology, we call it a trifecta. And here's what you do. It's about efficiency, and then it's about electrification and digitalization. The efficiency piece is really important because, you know, as young people with dreams and aspirations, sometimes people are going to say, oh, that's nice. It's inspiring. It costs too much. Stop right there. When we take action on climate in buildings, we actually save money because they're so inefficient. They are wasting energy, they're wasting water, they're wasting precious resources. And so it's the opportunity to have a positive message. Get off the sidelines, get into the climate change campaign, and you'll do your bottom line a service at the same time. So that's pretty good. But here's the deal. If we're just efficient, we're probably knocking about 30% off of all of that pollution from buildings. That's not net zero, and the planet needs net zero. So now we got to get inventive. And you know how we're moving to electric vehicles? We have to do the same thing with buildings, electrify them. And there's cool new technology, not so new, but newly on the front lines, called heat pumps. What does it do? It takes all of that fossil fuel, that natural gas we might have that's creating heating in a building or hot water in a building, and it's saying, we don't need you anymore. Out you go, because we can electrify all of those needs in a building. What does that do? That gets us to about a 70% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions in those buildings, and also saves money. But here is the really cool thing. You know, sometimes if you think about, well, okay, I'll think about a building. Now I'm starting to understand the bigger significance of buildings in terms of our health, our well-being. We spend so much time in these places, but also now in terms of the health of the planet. But you know, I'm not so sure it's for me, because I'm not really mechanically inclined, and I'm not sure I'm going to be good, you know, at turning a wrench on a boiler. The interesting thing is the big revolution coming to buildings is all about data and digital. It's about machine learning, artificial intelligence. We have this very cool platform called OpenBlue that is the state of the art to take these buildings that are inert, bricks and mortar, expensive burdens on people's balance sheets, and really transform them into the places that unleash passion and inspiration, that drives an organization's purpose, that drives that organization's passion. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the ability to take on a challenge like climate change and not just dial down something that's bad, that pollution that's going into the atmosphere. But while we're doing it, enabling truly remarkably good things to happen. I'll give you a couple of quick examples. So with our digital platform, we might go now into a hospital and we might say, look, we've got these sensors and they can sense temperature and humidity in a room. And when we can sense that, then we can optimize the heating or the air conditioning so nobody's cold and nobody's too hot. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's good. It's going to save me some money on my air conditioning bill. But what if we could also say, hey, those sensors also detect and destroy viruses in the air. So that Mrs. Smith, who's in that bed, now can get healthy faster. Now that she can get home to her family faster. Well, wait a minute now. Now we're not just tackling climate change. We're enabling a person to be happy and healthy faster. Here's another one. So you guys and gals are still, I think, in your education journey. I had the privilege about 6 months ago of sitting with the president of a community college. Now, you know, community colleges are strapped for resources, and students who go there can't afford to pay a penny more for education than they absolutely have to. So really, we're wasting money on polluting energy? Cut that. But that president of the university then started to talk to us more, and we started to talk about digital. And so we deployed these occupancy sensors that helped us to know, hey, there's nobody on the 4th floor. You don't need to blast all that air conditioning up here. So that's good. That cuts the energy bill. But here's what else it did. It opened that president's eyes to the fact that, guess what? They weren't doing right by some of the students in their campus, because they never realized those students, there was a group of students in some classes and some tracks who were being put on a certain part of the campus where they didn't get to interact with professors or other students. They kind of were islanded and isolated. They didn't know until they could see the data. So that president got to work and said, I'm going to lift my students up by rearranging my whole campus so that people are interacting, knowing each other, making teams, supporting each other. And then with all that empty space I wasn't using properly, now that I've brought my people together, I'm going to let neighboring businesses come in and set up shop so that my students can interact directly with their future employers. They can get to know businesses and give themselves a jump up in getting that job, so that you're not an unknown person the first time you knock on that business's door. Are we solving climate change? Are we lifting people's lives up? I think we're doing both. Having just come from the Taylor, okay, not concert, but concert movie, here's another one. So how about if you're in a stadium and the stadium is like, great, we've got these sensors deployed so that if nobody's over by gate 13, we won't be burning that air conditioning and wasting all of that energy and causing all that pollution for nothing. But what if those same sensors, for Katie McGinty as a huge fan, go Phillies, I'm from Philadelphia. What if those same sensors could shoot Katie McGinty a note and say, Katie McGinty, if you're ready for a cold beer, there's nobody over at gate 13. Well, now that is a delighted fan who also is glad on the side that the stadium's helping to tackle climate change as well. We need a few good people who want to be in this mission with us, who want to share our purpose, and even more, who will help fire up our passion. We need a few good people. We need you. Hope I see you in the Johnson Controls family. Bye.
Thank you so much, Katie. All right, everyone, you all heard Katie speak to the passion, right, and rigor that we're putting around really building more sustainable tomorrows. And so we're going to segue into hearing from some of the folks, to Katie's point, who are really on the front lines of really making that mission happen, and who are on the front lines of cultivating our generation of the future who will also join that mission and vision. And with that, we have some dynamic leaders. We have Craig, we have Heidi, we have Carrie, and we have Kyle as well, ready to speak to what your experience will be like as an intern if you decide to join our Johnson Controls family, and in the terms of our event today, our Johnson Controls band. And so I would love to kick things off with introductions with Craig, Heidi, and Carrie, starting with Craig, where you could tell us just your years at Johnson Controls, your collegiate major, and then certainly your career path as well.
Sure. Thanks, Darren. And again, I'm happy to be here this afternoon to spend some time with the group. And as Darren mentioned, my name is Craig Simpkins. I'm a global leader for early talent development for finance and accounting here at Johnson Controls. I've been at Johnson Controls for a little bit more than 15 years. And in my total career, I've been around for 33 years. I thought I would mention my total career path of 33 years since I started working the same time that Taylor Swift was born. So just a little data point there for you. So, you know what, before I get into my career path, I just want to point out the quote that I used on here, which is from Richard Branson. You know, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure you can do it, just say yes and figure it out later, right? Don't let any opportunities slip by you because of your maybe the lack of confidence in yourself. So my background is actually, I have an undergraduate in accounting and finance and a master's degree in, or an MBA in entrepreneurship, and then a master's degree in accounting. So my career path has been a variety of accounting and finance roles. And, you know, if you would ask me 33 years ago, would you be heading up a early talent program, you know, for a Fortune 100 company, I probably would have told you no. But I'm happy to be here and excited about helping grow and develop the early talent.
Hey everybody, my name is Heidi Summers. I am the Supply Chain Development Program Manager. A little bit of my educational background. I actually went to Northern Illinois University, go Huskies. Graduated with an Operations Management and Information Systems degree. Was able to join in a company in Racine, Wisconsin, underneath an IT program to start off with. Really determined that IT wasn't the area that I wanted to leverage so much. So digging back into my operations side and what my undergrad really was, went back to obtain my master's in supply chain management out of UW Milwaukee. So I was able to really get my foot in the door that way. I have now been in supply chain functions for over 15 years of my career, mainly in our procurement field. And last year had the opportunity to step into this early talent program management side to help our supply chain folks out. So really, really happy to be here. Like Craig, probably would not have said this is where I was going to be at this time, but this is a journey and I'm embracing it. It's been a lot of fun. So I think some of the information in front of me or in front of you all that I have is quote, it's my quote. You'll hear me ask it to you very frequently. What's the impact? Now, whether or not this is in your personal life or in your business life, you know, I always challenge everybody to assess what's the impact. How is this going to be perceived? What's the value? You know, and really digging into that. And another point that I want to make here is a key to success: always seek the uncomfortable, right? That's when you learn, that's when you grow.
All right. Thank you all. And thanks so much for inviting all of us to be a part of this today, Darren. First and foremost, my name is Carrie Coleman. I lead our IT and really our technical fields when it comes to our early career, both in internships as well as our rotational program in IT. I've been with Johnson Controls for a little over 4 years now. I spent the first 3 years at Johnson Controls as a senior HR generalist. So different to Heidi and Craig, I am not a pro in the field that I lead the early career in, but I come from the HR track. So you'll actually talk to so many people in Johnson Controls, and much of their background does not technically measure up with where they might be today. So don't let a degree or a major or something like that ever get in your way of, that passion and what you want to do. Went to UW Oshkosh, and I have a bachelor's in business and human resources. Spent 12 years of my life with Lowe's Home Improvement stores, working on the retail side of things. So this was my first corporate gig. So super excited to be able to work with individuals who have that talent. Probably my favorite part of my leadership style is pushing to that good uncomfortable. So getting people outside of their comfort zone and seeing where they can shine outside of that comfort zone. And from a visibility standpoint, take your place at the table now. Don't sit yourself in the background. Get out there and get known right off the bat.
All right. Well, our leaders have kicked us off with introductions and some powerful insights around how you can lead from your seat. So we're going to jump right in so you all can get some more insight into what your experience could look like if you decide you want to join us in our mission and vision to create more sustainable tomorrows, right? That's going to be done at the helm of a myriad of different functions, from engineering, IT, finance, supply chain, etc. And we want you to hear directly from some of the folks who have been on this mission with Johnson Controls for quite some time now. So leaders, are you ready? We have some hard-hitting journalistic questions for you.
Bring it.
So first question, it's targeted to everyone on the panel list. Tell us about a positive experience you've had with one of your former interns.
All right, I'm okay going first if y'all are okay with that. So one of my highlights was being able to meet a student at a local university mixer event that I just knew we needed to bring him into the organization, even though we didn't have an internship spot currently open. However, I was able to lobby, get one created. That was 4 years ago. He has since been with us through his internship, couple of summers of internship, his graduation, joined and completed our 2-year rotational program, and joined our procurement team, and has seen really great success in his career growth. And along the way, he's been able to leave a lasting impression on our executive leadership team, as he has had the opportunity to support some highly strategic and transformational activities here at JCI. And, the biggest thing that I'm most proud of is I continue to stay connected with him throughout that 4 years, even though I've only been in this early talent position for the last year. It's always been a very important part of how I see, our younger generations.
Craig, tell us a little bit about a positive experience you've had with one of your former interns.
So I've had interns underneath my responsibility for the whole time that I've been at Johnson Controls. And so when we bring interns on board, we want individuals to focus on the opportunity that's in front of them. There's endless opportunities at Johnson Controls. We're giving you all the tools to be successful. You need to drive it. 15 years ago, I had an intern who was in college working for me in our Milwaukee Business Center in a collections role as a collector. And, today he's a senior finance leader within the organization. So it shows that we do have those good paths in front of these interns.
Awesome stuff. All right, we're going to keep moving because we have quite a few questions in mind. So the next question on our docket today is, what's your favorite part about having an intern? You told us about some success stories, but tell us about what's your favorite part of having an intern.
I can kick this one off. I would say my favorite part about having an intern is really just seeing them grow through the early parts of their career. Even after a few days, a couple weeks, you see such a difference in their maturity and their self-presence, how they present themselves to their peers and the leaders in the organization. So just seeing that quick growth in them is what I enjoy most.
Awesome stuff. Heidi?
Sure. Yeah. So this one's short and sweet. I love watching them have their first aha moment, right? Where you really start to connect your academic backgrounds, the things you've learned, everything that you have invested so much of your time in, into the business world, right? It's not an easy and quick translation, but when they start putting all those pieces together and really seeing how they can apply themselves in the business world, all of their soft skills, all their technical skills that they have learned, there's always that turning moment, and I love watching it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Craig,
you know,
I love
I
this
would,
question, so I don't want to leave you out. So I want to
that's
hear
right.
your thoughts too.
Yeah, back to the point you made at the beginning about DE&I, it's not just about gender and ethnic background. It's the different perspectives that people bring to the table on a daily basis. And so my favorite part of interns are just all the different fresh perspectives that they bring when they come in and do a summer internship.
Awesome, Craig. I love that you brought that up. I think it's a really good segue into talking about a time that you all were able to create an environment of inclusion for an intern or a safe space. Any of our leaders here want to take that one on? Really curating an environment of openness and development for your interns.
Yeah, so I can start. So my approach to anyone on my team is offering a transparent and trusting environment, which can help facilitate the sharing of ideas. I like to give my team the leeway to explore options and to find success being their authentic self while doing it.
Yeah, I want to make sure that they're coming in and having a clear road, you know, a clear path in front of them during their summer experience, and the fact that we're you know, setting clear expectations and goals for them so that they have something to shoot for, and most importantly, understanding, you know, the value that they're adding to the organization at the end of the day, while also encouraging them to share, you know, ideas and opinions during any type of a team meeting that we would have, or a brainstorming session, just so that we're listening, you know, actively and you know, and if necessary, giving you know, any type of feedback. So again, it's all about driving inclusion to make sure that they understand that they are adding value to the organization at the end of the day.
Awesome. Craig, I mean, you just keep teeing me up for segues. You talked about setting some clear expectations. And I think that's really, really key, not only when we think about setting the culture around DE&I, which we'll hear more about later in today's session, but it's also important when we think about how we navigate executing on projects. And so I would love to hear from you all on maybe an example of a robust project that you were able to have an intern work on that really impacted potentially your entire team or the broader Johnson Controls enterprise. Carrie, maybe I'll start with you.
Absolutely. So JCI has gone through some struggles with IT recently, and our interns and our early career individuals really stepped up to help burden some of the initiatives that leaders were working on, to take that leaders focus off of those initiatives to let them focus on the bigger picture of things that were going on, to help with some recovery events, things like that. So really, to touch on really what Craig and Heidi said earlier too, pulling them into real life projects is what we do. It's not a practice project that you're going to do in the background, but they are in the meat and potatoes with everything that's going on within that environment, and having the opportunity to learn different parts of IT and to see all the different aspects that IT has to offer. So
I go straight into the thing that I probably love the most, which is finding a win-win with suppliers, right? I come from a procurement background, as I shared. So one of my very first interns that I've had the chance to lead very directly at Johnson Controls, he was instrumental in helping build a case to convert a paint supplier at one of our manufacturing facilities in Texas. Real and true example, very technical. Someone doesn't come out of college knowing paint as an expert. So it was a very difficult project that required a lot of pre-work, technical understanding, and the ability to interface both with internal and external partners. At the end of the day, he was able to identify over $500,000 in savings to transition our paint supplier to a preferred supplier. And along the way, he obtained the buy-in from our senior leaders to allow the project to move forward after he left. Really awesome work. And it goes to show that, you know, anybody has the ability with the right coaching and the right mentorship to get there.
I love that. Craig, we got some questions in the chat around finance, but before we jump into those, I would love to just hear any things that come to mind for you around an intern that really focused on a high impact project. I know you've done quite some work over your tenure at Johnson Controls, so I'm sure you have tons of stories to share with us.
Absolutely. So we have a global products division, which is the manufacturing arm of the organization. And so a few years back, the president of Global Products, along with the VP of Global Products, they were trying to complete a payroll analysis for our plants, and needed someone who was proficient in Excel and was confident in their ability to perform some analysis on worksheets. And so we had an intern who was coming out of their freshman year, so they were a rising sophomore. I put them in front of these two people, and they were able to communicate well with each other. And he completed this analysis, and they were very happy with the work that he did. It got a lot of exposure, and he's doing well in the organization today. So just again, another example of focusing on opportunities that are put in front of you.
Awesome stuff. We do have a question from one of our audience members for you, Craig. They want to know what's really kept you at Johnson Controls, right? And what are you looking for in terms of candidates from a finance perspective for full-time opportunities and for internships?
A couple key points. The number one thing that keeps me at Johnson Controls, along with a lot of my peers, are the people at the end of the day, right? It's, we get back to talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And again, it's not on gender or ethnic background, but it's the different perspectives that people bring to the table at the end of the day. There's a lot of smart people at Johnson Controls. And so that helps you in your career as an individual, because if you run into a roadblock on a certain subject or topic, there's people that you can leverage to help navigate you through, those challenges. And, and what makes a successful, finance and accounting intern is coming in and branding yourself right out of the gate, right? You have 12 weeks to come, and prove that, you're capable of performing the job for the summer. And so we're assessing your competencies to make sure that, you're aggressive and you want to do work and you ask a lot of questions. And you network and build relationships, and people recognize that, when the 12 weeks is complete. So, people have heard this example many times before, but it's the soft skills that matter at the end of the day. We can teach you the hard skills piece of the equation, but if you flip it around, it's a lot difficult to nail those soft skills. And so that's what we're really looking for, are people who excel in competencies.
Awesome. And Craig, you're certainly right. We're looking for talent that really can come knock it out of the park. But we also understand that this internship experience and this era that we're stepping into is collaborative and a two-way street. And so we put a lot of onus on our leaders to really build our generation of the future. And so I would love to hear from two or three of you around maybe a time where you had an intern that was potentially struggling in their role, and how did you help them as a leader, right? How did you help them navigate challenges or improve their soft skills or hard skills so that they could not only be successful at Johnson Controls during their internship, but that they could continue to grow in their academic or professional career? Carrie, maybe we'll start with you.
Absolutely. So the first thing it's important to do is to build that relationship with each individual as a person. Having large group events is great, but also having those one-on-ones and really getting to know them and know what makes them tick. And find out, is the struggle, perhaps it's personal, perhaps it's in the workplace, or what is the root cause of that struggle is important to find out. They might be working through a personal hardship at home that is unfortunately coming into the workplace, or whatever it may be. So helping them develop the plan together to eliminate or help overcome some of those barriers that they're going through, pulling in leadership if needed from a training perspective, and really helping them get their focus back to what they want to do, look far in the future of what those future goals are, and not just focus in the moment, but look at that whole path to get them more to where they want to be.
And Heidi's used this term a couple times today, but it's all about transparency at the end of the day. So what Carrie just brought up is if individuals are transparent with their struggles, then we'll sit down with them and walk through those struggles with them and help them come up with a solution. I mean, maybe someone has a challenge with time management. Maybe someone's a little bit shy and we need to help them open up a little bit. But the key is there has to be some self-realization that goes on to bring forth these struggles in a transparent manner so we can help resolve them. I think that's the key piece.
And I'd like to go out on on a limb here and say who hasn't struggled at one point or another, where they have had to receive or give, the really hard feedback at some point in their career. It's not easy. It's always very difficult. The one that I find coaching, more frequently is just building up that confidence, right? So I think Craig and Carrie both have said this already, is the engagement that you have with your teams and how you step into an environment. You can go very far with just being prepared and confident to, as I say, ask the dumb questions. They might feel dumb to you, but I assure you they are not. Right? It shows that you have a level of understanding. It shows that you are engaged and that you're here to learn from the experts that we are placing you with so you can grow quickly. Right? So that's really where I want to leave you.
Awesome. So we're going to do one more question for our hiring manager panel. Interns, don't fret. We have another panel coming up with some of our actual interns to ask more questions. And we're going to have an entire section for a few minutes so you can hear from our recruiting team on all the VIP access information to be successful in our interview process. But I want to close out with our leaders that I have here with a question because we've covered a lot, right? We've talked about success stories with interns. We talked about how some of these leaders are developing our talent of the future. We talked about some of the things we need to be successful here at Johnson Controls as we focus on building more sustainable tomorrows. And so I want to hear a little bit more about what does the career pathway look like for interns if they join our organization. So an intern that started their career with you, what is possible for them next? And what leadership roles sit in their pathway if they decide to join your program? I'll hand it to Carrie first. Have her kick things off.
The amazing thing about our company being a global organization is we really have the ability to have that cross function. So Craig and I will maybe trade an intern or two for different summers who have different focuses. Heidi and I will do the same. So we don't look at our programs with pillars around them. We really look at being one team and making sure that we're sharing that talent that we have, because we do realize that there's talent out there that have many different interests while they're going to school, and they need to find kind of that niche of where they want to be. From an IT perspective, after the internship, we do have the rotational program, which isn't a mandatory thing for someone to go into if they want to stay with Johnson Controls, but it's another pathway for them to be able to explore and get to know all the different aspects that IT has to offer. So I would say first, just identifying what they want to do. If they have a good understanding, maybe after the 4 years of college, they want to try something new, and all of us being able to work together to find that right place for them is important to me.
Yeah. And to echo what Carrie said, right? I think we cross-functionally stay connected as an organization. Finance and IT people make great supply chain folks as well, and vice versa. So I always love being able to stay connected and investigate, right, what someone's true passions are. But I would like to say there is no one pathway that's defined. It's up to each individual and the managers you're working with to help kind of unlock what that looks like for you. My main goal as a supply chain early development manager is to unlock this value of each team member's true passions, motivations, and help them discover which roles and career paths fit them as an individual.
So from an accounting and finance perspective, obviously when we bring in interns for the summer, our goal is to convert them either into a continued internship because they haven't graduated yet, or we have a couple different options that they could pursue after they graduate. So we have the finance and accounting rotational program, similar to what Carrie and Heidi mentioned. There's possibilities for entry level roles, especially in the accounting area, or again, the intern may have a different career path that they want to follow that they've discovered after interning at Johnson Controls, and we help them get a boost there as well. Back to the second half of your question is that we spend a lot of time not only in the intern phase, but also in the rotational program phase of doing an individual development plan. So people who are coming into the organization can map out what they want to do. This is what I want to do 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. And the key is it's a development plan, right? So we're going to continue to give you the tools to develop yourself and really take it wherever you want to go at the end of the day. And I can give you one quick example. It's, we have individuals who were in rotational programs in Europe and APAC that are in Milwaukee today, right? Because they graduated from the rotational program. Part of their individual development plan was, hey, I want to relocate from India to Milwaukee, or I want to relocate from, Bratislava to Milwaukee. And we make that happen at the end of the day, if that's where they want to end up. So the key word I used before is opportunity. There's a ton of opportunity, regardless if you do supply chain, IT, finance, and accounting. And that's what you really need to assess when you're looking at internships is, what is the big picture? Where can I really take this at the end of the day?
Awesome stuff. We love opportunities to really expand and develop globally, because Johnson Controls, as we mentioned before, is in over 150 countries. So folks in the audience, if you're looking to go on a world tour, Johnson Controls certainly is the place to be. All right. So we gave you a preemptive prompt around thinking about your leadership style from an audience perspective. We've heard from some of our business leaders, and we still have more great information coming. So hang tight. We're going to talk about our internship recruitment process, our list of openings, where they're located. We're going to hear from folks from our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion office. So stay tuned in. We also have an intern panel coming up. So please start thinking of questions you would have for someone who's currently interning at JCI, and start popping those in the chat. And we'll be sure to keep those in mind as we engage with our interns. But before we get to any of those good things, I have someone who is near and dear to my heart, who worked with me during my start at Johnson Controls, Taylor Tracy, our internship program manager. She's going to give you all the bee's knees tea on what to expect from a cohort experience, right? In addition to working directly with your hiring manager on your immediate team, you're going to get to experience a global program of internships of interns across the world. And Taylor's going to be at the helm of curating that experience for you. So Taylor, over to you.
Thank you so much, Darren. Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Tracy, and I am the Internship Program Coordinator here at JCI. So I'm going to spend a few minutes introducing the award-winning program we have here at JCI for our interns, which we call the Future Leaders Internship Program. We are fortunate to be named one of the top 100 intern programs in North America, but way up in both 2022 and 2023. The Future Leaders Internship Program is a best-in-class shared intern experience for our interns from across the globe, and it typically lasts from 10 to 12 weeks. So we kick off the program with an opening event. Interns hear from none other than our chairman and CEO, George Oliver. Over the course of the following weeks, interns have the opportunity to attend weekly professional development sessions, as well as a virtual learning journey. We also allow our interns to participate in many volunteer opportunities, during which we call the Intern Week of Action. Now, arguably the intern's favorite part of the program is the 8-week Innovations Challenge. Interns are divided into teams where they are given dedicated mentors to assist them along the way. The goal is to provide a solution to one of the challenge statements that are provided at the start. The challenge statements are centered around real-world problems at JCI, and interns have the opportunity to provide real-world solutions. So at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure interns have the best possible internship experience that essentially results in a lasting career at Johnson Controls, either as an intern in another future internship or as a full-time employee. We do everything we can to ensure interns are prepared and excited to become future leaders in their careers. And now you'll hear from our amazing recruiters, Katie and Grace.
All right, I have to give Grace and Katie a formal introduction. They have what we call the VIP tickets to the interview process for early career roles at JCI. So without further ado, Katie and Grace, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Darren. Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Beauchamp, and like Darren mentioned, I'm one of the early career recruiters, and I've been with JCI for almost 2 years now. I actually started as an intern on the corporate HR team and then transitioned over to a full-time employee about a year ago. So I'm very excited to tell you a little bit about our recruiting process. So I primarily recruit for our accounting, finance, supply chain, software engineering, and pricing internships. So if you haven't already applied yet, that is the first thing you'll want to do. You'll have to visit our great careers site, and then you can search any internship you may be interested in. And then from there, I would be reviewing your resume and your application to ensure that you meet all of the requirements for the job. And then if you do meet the requirements, I would be sending you a request through our AI robot, Emma. And you are able to select a time on my calendar that works perfectly for you. And then we would be setting up an interview from there. So next, in the interview call with me, I would be telling you about our amazing Future Leaders internship program, to hear about what you're looking for out of an experience, and also answer any questions you might have. And then, assuming that you're a great fit for the internship program, I would be setting you up with a second round interview with the hiring manager, and they would be evaluating you on your soft skills as well as your technical skills. And then lastly, we have a panel interview where you get to meet with some of the team members, to hear about the culture of the team and a day in the life. And then lastly, if the team decides that you're a perfect fit, you would be receiving an offer, and fingers crossed that you all receive a job offer from us. Okay, Katie, take it away.
Thanks, Grace. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Sullivan. I'm a senior recruiter on the early careers team. I am just about to hit my 1 year, which has gone by so quickly. It's super exciting, but really eager to give you guys some tips and tricks. We definitely want to know why you're interested in the position, what sparks your curiosity about Johnson Controls. So definitely come prepared, having done some homework or even light stalking on our careers page to kick off the conversation. We're looking for students who are eager to continue learning and who really thrive in a collaborative environment, shine when bringing ideas to the table. We love to hear about past leadership experience and what role you typically gravitate towards in a group setting. And I promise we're not always looking for the person who leads the project. We love to hear about the candidate that likes to get stuff done and keeps others on track too. We know that not everyone loves interviewing, but if you have a tendency to ramble or get nervous, try to keep your answers short and concise. If there is something you want to ensure you bring up, jot down a few bullet points to remind yourself. You want to sound organic and not robotic. Practice answering your interview questions this way too. To better help prepare, lean on Google. Google has a plethora of amazing behavioral-based and even technical questions. And if you're a fan of social media, Career Contessa is an amazing follow. You'll definitely want to make sure you ask your interviewer at least 2 questions at the very end. A few go-tos that I like are: what skills or traits are you looking for in your next employee? What is the culture like on your team, and how can I add to that? What brought you to Johnson Controls, and what do next steps look like? I know one of you had a great question about some traits like we're specifically looking for. I know Craig touched on it a little bit for definitely like those hard and soft skills, but I would definitely say that we're looking for a critical thinker, someone who's really determined to get the job done and has an eagerness to learn, but we're also looking for a lot of flexibility. So I would say be willing to roll with the punches when you join Johnson Controls. And remember, this is a two-way street. You're interviewing us just as much as we're interviewing you. We want to make sure this is a good match for the both of us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Grace and Katie. Feel free to drop some more questions in the chat. Next up, we have my fellow MC up on the docket, Ronnie, our early careers manager globally, along with a few other things in her remit. I'm going to hand the floor to her to talk about our current openings and some of our future openings and where you can join the Johnson Controls Era Tour across the US. Ronnie, over to you.
Thanks, Darren. All right. Hi again, everyone. And thank you for putting up with me answering your questions in the Q&A. Hopefully these slides will answer some more of the questions. So Now that you know how to get a job here and the process candidates go through, I wanted to tell you what jobs we have available. So that's what this is. This is a slide of what's open right now, which are mainly our corporate positions like IT and finance and supply chain and technical sales. And you guys, Katie's the recruiter for that role in Alaska. And so really, honestly, if anyone's interested in Alaska, please let Katie know because she's having trouble. But by the end of the academic year, we'll have over 400 openings for full-time and intern candidates. So if you don't see something right now that you are really passionate about, check back. You can join our talent community, which I'll put the link in the chat in a little bit. You can also check our job openings on Way Up. We update those all the time, but these are the kind of openings that are going to become available. A lot of product management, a lot of product development, sustainability intern positions, which I think are so cool. Mechanical design, we've got hardware and software testing coming up. So a ton of openings are honestly coming up. We saw the vast majority open in the fall for corporate positions, and then January, February, and March for intern positions in the field and full-time positions in the field. Which is to my next point. You're probably wondering, where are these slides or where are these positions going to be open? Thank you, Biana. I was definitely going to say next slide. So, okay. Our positions are truly spread out across the US. We have a branch in every major city. We also spend millions of dollars on research and development. And once we invent something new and amazing, we have to manufacture it. So we have great manufacturing plants around the United States too. We've got them in York, Pennsylvania. That's a really big one. Lubbock, Texas, Norman, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas, San Antonio, Texas, even Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Tucson, Arizona. We've got quite a few manufacturing plants. And so we're going to have a lot of openings in those areas too. So honestly, we've got like offices as well in Atlanta, Georgia, Westford, Massachusetts, some in the outskirts of Chicago, even Southern California. I'm going to put in for a transfer there. Somewhere in Campbell, California is where we've got a good office. So we're really going to have openings in all of these locations by the end of the academic year. They just don't all come to us at the exact same time. So I'd say sign up for those talent communities. Keep your eye on Way Up because we've got more coming your way. Now, our major headquarters is in Cork, Ireland, but our United States headquarters is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So about 50% of our openings are in Milwaukee, and I can't wait to go there in 3 weeks to help with an intern event. But in the meantime, Kyle and Carrie are going to tell us all about how cool Milwaukee is.
Awesome. Thanks, Ronnie. So as Ronnie said, our local headquarters is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So many of you might think, why would I want to come to Milwaukee for the summer? Well, first and foremost, that is where our IT, our software engineering, our finance and accounting internships are primarily held. The map that you see on the slide is representation of all of the colleges that we hired from over this last summer. So not just the United States, as you can see, we also had candidate from Canada come down. So this is representation of where all the interns came from, specifically for IT, software engineering, finance, accounting, and some of our supply chain individuals as well. So it's important for us to really build that camaraderie amongst all of our intern groups. We do a lot of fun things throughout the summer. I have the ability to work at our corporate office and meet others and learn about the different functions from a corporate perspective. Kyle, I'll turn it over to you to really share why Milwaukee.
Thanks so much, Carrie. And hello, everyone. My pronouns are he, him, and while I didn't introduce myself earlier at the start of the call, I do work with Craig Simpkins, who you heard from briefly, who's the global leader for finance and accounting programs. I'm responsible specifically for North America, and I came to Milwaukee initially for college, and I ended up staying for some of the myriad of opportunities that we have here on the slide specifically for you to see, ranging from our cultural and heritage festivals, from Bastille Days to the Lakefront Festival of the Arts. We have Bradford Beach, which is located directly on Lake Michigan. That is an inclusive beach in which those that are disabled from a wheelchair or from walkers are able to walk all the way down to Lake Michigan and actually experience the lakefront water, which you can't actually do in a wheelchair at any other beach that does not have that path enabled for you. We also are home to the Milwaukee Brewers, as well as the Milwaukee Bucks. So you get the experience from the internship program specifically to get to tour the Pfizer Forum, to also tour and go to Milwaukee Brewers games as well. We also have the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds here that you get to experience during your summer internship when you're with us, the Milwaukee Air and Water Show. One of the world's largest music festivals, Summerfest, is located here. And you also get the experience of tons and tons of craft root beer that you can enjoy when you're in Milwaukee, ranging from specifically Sprecher, which if you haven't had Sprecher, you should definitely try Sprecher root beer. So with that, I mean, that's just some of the, I don't even know how to say it, just some of the many reasons that Milwaukee can turn out to be your home in the future for just the summer, but also in the future for full-time employment if you come to work at our corporate headquarters here in Milwaukee. So with that, I will turn it back over to Darren and Ronnie.
Thanks, Kyle. One of the phrases I like to use is a little razzle dazzle on top of the internship with some dynamic leaders, right? All right, so we are shifting over to our internship panel where you can hear directly from folks who are in your shoes today. I have my partner in crime and MC Viana here, who's going to be hosting that panel. And we also have quite a few interns who are on the call who will be joining us on the stage now. And so without further ado, I'm going to hand the floor to Viana and give the spotlight to our interns to answer a few questions around their experience and really help our audience think through what they should expect if they decide to audition and join us on our Eras tour to really create more sustainable tomorrows.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Darren. I'm so excited to have all the interns here with me today to talk to you guys about their experience, and you get to hear firsthand voice from the interns themselves. And these are my fellow interns, so I'm here with them in unity. So we have interns from IT, supply chain, and finance. So we're going to ask some high-level questions regarding their internship experience at Johnson Controls. So for my interns, anyone is welcome to jump in, so just feel free to jump in, respond. But before doing so, make sure to introduce your name as well as your role. And with that being said, I do have my first question lined up for you guys. So my question is, what was your favorite part about interning at JCI?
Hi, my name is Rebecca Rentz. I've been a finance intern at Johnson Controls for a year and a half now. And as for my favorite part of JCI, I've really loved feeling like I've been able to really genuinely contribute to a team and actually add value to the team. I was pretty nervous when I first started that because I didn't have any previous experience in corporate finance that I wasn't going to be of much use. But JCI is really good at balancing, giving interns real responsibilities and real tasks and genuine assignments, while also making sure that you have a really solid support network that you can go to for help. As an intern, you have access to program leads that can help you. You have your actual team that has employees, has other interns, you have your manager, you have so many people that are willing to help you get over the admittedly kind of steep learning curve that comes with joining the corporate world. And it's been really great to get to know so many people in that as you are learning so much. And I think because JCI is so good at that balance between real responsibilities and having a support network, I've had some really great opportunities as an intern that I didn't think I'd get to have for years into my career. You know, I've had meetings with our CEO. I've traveled for work. I've been mentored by senior leaders. I've learned so much in such a short amount of time. And I really do think that that's because of how JCI's program is structured to really give you real impact adding and real value adding assignments while making sure that you have help.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing your experience. Okay, is there anyone else on the panel that would be interested in kind of speaking up to their favorite aspect of their experience and their internship so far?
Yeah, I can talk about my favorite part of the internship. Hello, everybody. My name is Brendan. I'm a accounting and finance intern. And I have two different aspects, which were my favorite parts about interning at JCI. The first is the team dynamic. Coming into the program with a company as large as JCI, I was worried I wouldn't feel like I was a part of a team or isolated because of being an intern. But everyone was welcoming, and the nature of the work really allowed for me to feel like a part of the team and involved with important actions within the day-to-day or month-to-month cycles. And second, I really enjoyed the structure of the internship. It never felt boring. There were always opportunities to learn new concepts and tasks to be done. And really making the most of the opportunity and asking for more work allowed the internship to fly by and not feel repetitive. Along with that, events like the Hone Innovation Challenge or the professional development presentation kept the experience fresh and exciting.
My name is Kyler, and I'm part of the supply chain program. Probably one of like the most of the things I liked was just like all of like the experiences I was able to get. I wasn't doing like the same thing every single day, and being in supply chain, there's a whole bunch of different functions. I was doing materials, operations, health and safety, HR, engineering, quality, and it was just all around a great experience. But like the best way that I can put it is like you're not just an intern, like you're actually like a valuable asset to the company, which was very like awesome to see. Just like growing and learning and getting outside of your comfort zone too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kyler. I do have to agree with you that we are treated as a valuable asset to the organization. Like, for example, as I mentioned, this is my launch. This is my huge event that I've been working on with Darren, and this is clearly not an intern project. Okay, let me just say this was a very big project for an intern such as myself, and I'm so proud of having all of you here and hearing about our similar experiences together. So with that, I want to transition over to our second question. So the second question is, were you able to build and maintain relationships with other interns?
I would like to answer that. Hi, I'm Faria Thabasum. I'm a finance intern. I've started internship. I've been doing my internship for almost a year. So to talk about if I were able to connect with other interns, at first, in the beginning of the internship in summer, we had actually so many transition events, interns networking events. Through that, I got to know about interns more. Also, we had so many volunteer events, and also there's so many other events, for example, taking us to the Brewers game. Through those events, I felt like I connected with the interns more. And because throughout there's so many interns, and I got to learn about their work. So and it kind of, I feel like we were able to make a better and stronger teams throughout these events.
I can answer that as well. My name is Josh Layton, and I'm a supply chain intern. And so one of the things that I realized, especially doing two different internships, one in Milwaukee and one down here in Atlanta, I realized that like being able to reach out with people on social media, reaching out through LinkedIn, Instagram, and building friendships that way, especially when you're mainly working with other employees and not really around other interns sometimes, especially in a more remote facility, right? Being able to reach out that way and build connections through your meetings, especially through the Innovation Challenge, and always talking to them, and also building time outside of that just to talk to each other, just taking a little bit of time, like 30 minutes just to learn more about each other, was an excellent way to build connection with other interns who are especially in different states and stuff.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Josh. And we love to see Darren and Josh both in Atlanta. So we love to see it. And then Ellie, I saw that you wanted to go answer this question as well.
Yeah. I'm Ellie. I'm an IT intern. Just kind of piggybacking off of what everyone else has said. It's just been really great. There's like a ton of different opportunities to get to know interns. We have some more professional opportunities like the hackathon, and we also have an innovation challenge, which I think we'll talk more about later. But that's been a really good way to get to know people within the workplace, but also we've gotten to do a lot of like volunteering opportunities. So my personal favorite was we made blankets for the puppies and kittens at the Humane Society, and that was so much fun. And there were also opportunities to volunteer at like the Hunger Task Force farm, and also a food bank as well. So it's really good to be able to like get to know the interns and also like bond over kind of like common interests and activities around Milwaukee. And I'm from Milwaukee, so it was really cool to like get to show other people who aren't as familiar with the area. So that was really exciting.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Ellie. So speaking of the innovation challenge, that is actually my last question for our interns today. So that question is, what is your experience with the innovation challenge? I would love to hear it myself. I haven't been able to come in person for the Milwaukee excitement. So hearing about, everything that Kyle and Carrie said, it got me really excited. And I would love to hear all of your experiences with that.
Okay, I think I'll start. My name is Diamond A. I've been an IT intern for about 2 years now. And this past summer was my first time partaking in the Innovation Challenge. And I will say I was very scared going into it because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't really know much about the topics that were going on. But I will say JCI has a very supportive culture. So it was really nice to go to my peers and my mentors around me and just get so much guidance. And they kind of gave me nice pep talk. So it was fun participating in it. I learned a lot. And I feel like the teams are very intentional when they're chosen because you get paired up with so many great people. And at first, it was like everybody was kind of shy, but we built it together and kind of feel like a family towards the end. When it came time to present, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else that would like to kind of say their final words about the Innovation Challenge before we wrap up our panel?
My name's Brooke. I've been interning in the supply chain program, specifically in procurement, since May. And I was also very nervous for the Innovation Challenge when we first were kicking stuff off. Again, just as said before, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, what it was all about. But the mentors and all the support from everyone within the company is just amazing. I remember when we were first kicking off our research, our team decided to do AI, and none of us knew a lot about AI. So, we needed that help from other people within the organization. And we had people from Ireland and England, willing to hop on Zoom calls with us outside of their work hours, just to give us some insight and bounce ideas off of each other. So that was really amazing. And I think that's really important for a company to have, and specifically in the Innovation Challenge, you need that support from everyone around you. And that's what we received. And it was really fun being able to be creative and see that support from others.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I just wanted to wrap up the internship panel. I'm so happy to be here with all of you guys and also to share this with our prospective interns as well. So thank you all so much for coming to our intern panel, for our lovely interns, and for listening. If you have any questions about our internships, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Vianna, for hosting that for us. Our next performer is a leader in the industry when it comes to cultivating safe spaces. Next up, we have my friend, my colleague, my partner in crime with all things business research groups and DE&I for BSNA, Brittany Garrison. She's going to kick off Act 3, an era of inclusion and community.
Thank you, Darren. And how great has the event been? I'm blown away. So great job, Vianna and Darren, on this. My name is Brittany Garrison. I'm the director of DE&I for our Building Solutions North America team. I'm also the corporate business resource group leader for the enterprise. And today I want to highlight our business resource groups, also known as BRGs, because they are so special and so impactful to the organization. So business resource groups, what are they? They are groups of employees with similar backgrounds, experiences, or characteristics who share a common interest in professional development, improving our culture, and impacting business results. They are employee-led groups that provide a safe environment for all employees to network, to grow, and to build allyship. And in fact, many of our members of the BRGs and their leaders do not directly identify with the business resource groups that they're a part of. And this is intentional, right? We believe in inclusion, and it shows in how we support each other across the BRGs. And I like to compare our business resource groups to student groups that you all may currently be in or have been a part of in the past from your schools. And what these groups do is they see growth opportunities for our employees and for the enterprise, and they go after it. And the best part about this is that the involvement and the participation, it's completely up to the individual. So today we have 11 business resource groups, which you'll see on the right side of this slide here. And we have over 8,000 employees across the globe who are a part of these groups. And I also want to highlight, you heard from one of our global presidents today. Kyle Hicks is the president of our JC4E Business Resource Group for our LGBTQ plus community. And each month, our BRGs, they're hosting events all across the globe to cover a wide range of topics, from developing or mastering your Excel skills to gaining soft skills that Craig Simpkin mentioned earlier today, to understanding our products like OpenBlue, and even addressing community-specific concerns and challenges across the enterprise. And we also do a wide range of volunteer events and My Giving campaigns as well to raise money for charities. And so, we're doing all types of things for our employees, and our interns are able to take advantage of these programs as well. And one thing I also want to mention is that our business resource groups, they've even stood up leadership and talent development programs for women, for emerging leaders, and for underrepresented talent across the globe. And again, these BRGs, so impactful. They make our employees feel valued, heard, and celebrated, and they help build a network for all employees when they're starting their career journey with us, regardless of where they start, right? And so there's numerous studies by leading research and consulting firms that have proven the power of BRGs, from attracting top talent like yourselves to retaining that talent and even boosting innovation. We know that with diversity, equity, and inclusion, we will win. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. Again, this has been an amazing event, and I will hand it off to Allison Newman to talk about additional efforts that we're taking to make a positive impact on the communities in which we live, work, and play.
Great. Thanks so much, Brittany. And hello, everybody. My name is Allison Newman. I'm the Program Manager of Workforce Development here at North America. And I want to just take an opportunity to share with you that we have an incredible onboarding program for anyone out there who is studying electronics or is even studying IT. We have a program that just launched a year ago. We've had 100 interns go through this program called the Johnson Controls Academy. And it is an accelerated technical onboarding program for individuals that come with an aptitude and some knowledge of electronics and IT, where they can become on into our organization as field technicians. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to be stuck at a desk in your career, but be out and about and serving our customers and impacting the community, being a technician and growing with your career is an awesome, awesome opportunity as well. So there's a QR code that talks about the Johnson Controls Academy. You're able to enter to get more information. And as I mentioned, it's a 6-week boot camp where you get incredible technical training, professional skill training, and then you can get placed all throughout the United States of America. So just want to take this opportunity for anybody out there interested in the Johnson Controls Academy, again, with an electrical or an IT background. So thank you so much. Congratulations, everybody, for joining this call to embark and learn about a great career at Johnson Controls. So I believe we have Mariana who's going to be closing us out, right, Darren?
Yep. So, we certainly have to really introduce our dynamic leader at the helm of all things DE&I, right? She is going to be a part of our closing act. She's an ex-Googler who knows a lot about innovation, DE&I, and executive leadership. So without further ado, I would like to yield the floor to our Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Marina Williams.
Darren, thank you so very much for that kind introduction. And thank you to each and every one of you who decided to join us today to learn more about Johnson Controls. I would like to also thank this incredible JCI team for bringing us all together today and taking us on our own Eras tour. Particularly our tour manager, Darren England. So Darren, thank you so much for making this happen for us. So about our DEI commitment here at Johnson Controls. Fundamental to that DEI commitment is fostering a culture where our workforce is comfortable bringing their full selves to work. We know that when our team members show up as their full selves, our innovation increases, Problems are solved quickly and effectively, and we are collectively more dedicated to our organization's mission. So you've heard a bit about the who and the what from the JCI team today. You've heard about our focus on sustainability, our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as our commitment to developing and advancing our workforce. So now the question for you is, what is your why? And we hope your brief engagement with us today allows you to consider a career with Johnson Controls as part of your why. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Darren.
Thank you so much, Marina. So I just want to thank our audience members who tuned in for a dynamic show across multiple acts, performers. We've really covered a lot, but we have to come to a close. And so I want to personally thank you on behalf of Johnson Controls for attending our first ERAS tour, or our first DEI Early Career Symposium. We hope you leave with something that can help bolster your career as you embark on new opportunities while coming to the end of your college era. There are so many ways to lead, create success, cultivate inclusion, and create more sustainable tomorrows. We believe at JCI that we can be your change and catalyst for growth. So please be sure to apply to our openings on our career site and share the word with your peers on the experience you've had with Johnson Controls today, and certainly the experience you're having day in and day out as you go into college campuses, airports, hospitals, commercial buildings, stadiums, and maybe even on one of the tours from one of those artists that I mentioned at the top of our call. Again, diversity, equity, inclusion is embedded into everything that we do, and we're looking for diverse, dynamic leaders from all walks of life, whether you are a person with a disability, a veteran, someone who has unique thought processes around innovation or sustainability. If you come from Milwaukee, if you come from Brazil, if you come from Atlanta, where I'm from, if you come from Pittsburgh, there's room for all of us. And we're hoping that you're going to join us on our mission and vision to create smarter, healthier, sustainable buildings, and certainly sustainable tomorrows. Until next time, you'll hear about more future dates around opportunities to see JCI performers and artists, as we call them today. Until next time, bye for now.